If you want to be a teacher in the United States, you already are climbing an uphill battle. But if you want to be a teacher in the New York City public school system, forget about it. This is a PSA to anyone out there that wants to be a teacher and wants to move to New York City. Stay away. In this video, I'll explain why the New York City public school system is not worth working for and why I suggest that everybody not walk but run away from the New York City Department of Education. The nepotism, cronyism, favoritism, underfunded schools, all of these problems that come with being a public school teacher, magnify that by 10, and what you get is the New York City public school system. And you would think that the largest public school district in the country would be better at handling its affairs. Instead, it's plagued by controversies, grade fixing scandals, principals cheating and fudging graduation rates, and so much more. And who gets the blame? Teachers. And this is why I'm saying, if you want to be a teacher or are an aspiring teacher and wants to teach in a public school in New York City, stay the hell away. Not only are teachers severely underpaid compared to the annual median income that's needed to survive in New York City, but there's been a decline in the amount of teachers in New York City. Any surprise? The teacher turnover rate in New York City is over 20% compared to the national average of 10%. These teachers are burnt out and quickly fizzle out. And this is why I'm saying, if you're one of those types that thinks you're going to change the world or save the lives of impoverished black and brown kids that live in the ghettos of New York City, I'm going to stop you right there and tell you to give that up and move on. Go teach in some suburb in white suburbia, because you are not going to be able to handle the culture shock that comes with teaching at a New York City public school, especially in poorer districts and areas. In New York City, academic smarts are not sufficient. You need to be able to know how to handle and move about in these streets. And a lot of these teachers that come from Kansas and Minnesota and bumfuck nowhere come over here and are just completely culture shocked. They don't understand or can relate to their students, and so their students see them as a joke and mock them and even harass, bully them, and so forth. And it's just so irresponsible to me that there isn't a kind of cultural factor being tied into what it takes to be a teacher in a public school in New York City. Now, although I've never been an employee of the Department of Education, thank God, I am a graduate of New York City public schools from K through 12. And I remember when I was in high school, they would ask me, what do I want to do in my life? And honestly, at that time, I wanted to be a public school teacher. And do you know what my teachers at the time told me? No, don't do it. Go want to be something else. Anything but this, John. Anything but you wanting to be a teacher. You already know what we go through with all the basic corruption going on, with basically everybody telling you what to do and how to do it and micromanaging you and being underpaid, understaffed, having to pay out of pocket for, basic things like chalk, disrespectful students, and everybody basically being on you and blaming you and being basically the face of everything that's wrong. And like the saying goes, the bigger the place, the bigger the problems. And New York City public schools have so many problems that I can't even begin to get into this video. I'm just going to keep this video very general and very brief, and I'm just going to repeat myself. If you want to be a teacher, stay the hell away from New York City public schools. It is not worth it. You will not be respected. You will not be cherished. You will be thrown to the wolves and fend for yourself. That's essentially how it is. And it's just so tragic because all of these students are being done a disservice to because they have only focused on irrelevant things like graduation rates. Like, why does a graduation rate matter if half the students can't even do basic math and have to take a remedial math or literacy course in college, if they even get into college? And it's just basically become where you're not even a teacher anymore. You're just a vessel to get students to pass a standardized test. You do not get to choose your own curriculum. You have to teach whatever they tell you to. You have to stick to the script. You cannot have your own creativity, and you will be stifled in every direction by higher-ups who think they know more than you or who have zero classroom experience. The amount of nepotism, cronyism, favoritism that goes on in the New York City public school system is just at levels of corrupt, basically, and it's a system-wide issue. You have people that have never taught a class for a single day of their lives telling you how to teach and what to say and how to be. And it's like, you've never even been a teacher yourself. How are you telling me what to do and how to do my job? But you have so many people that are just overpaid to do nothing, that know nothing. And it's just frustrating because you can't do anything about it, because if you speak out against them, they're going to write you up, give you unsatisfactory ratings, and give you the boot. This is the system that has been normalized, and it's no wonder why there's such a high turnover rate in New York City public schools. And it's no wonder why the profession is losing teachers. And it's no wonder why we're in the mess that we're in. When you take these young adults, these young professionals in their early to mid-20s that come from outside of New York City and think they're going to change the city and, improve the lives of their students and, make them scholars and all of these great, bright ideas, noble ideas, how innocent they are, because what the school system does is that they place them into the most violent, poorest public schools in the city, and they just lose their minds because their students are failing. Their students can't even read at 6th grade level. Their students can't do basic math, and they get the blame for it. And imagine being blamed for cyclical problems that have been years in the making, that have nothing to do with you. And you get blamed for that. You get called a bad teacher. You're the one that loses your position because you get the blame for everything. And it's just trying to find like a needle in a haystack to have a good staff that supports you, a good principal, a good assistant principal. Basically, like in any workplace, higher ups that are truly there for you to guide you and hold your hand and support you is finding like a needle in a haystack. You're not really going to find that. That's not the common environment in New York City public schools, because everyone is just focused on students passing the test, the graduation rate being high. No one actually cares if people are learning. No one actually is there to actually serve the students when it comes to the bureaucratic higher ups. They're just there for results to secure more funding. At the end of the day, it's all about money. And it's just so crazy that this is the system that's been normalized. And then we wonder, why are so many American students failing? Why are we so behind as a country in education? Why is public education being privatized and taken over by charter schools and underfunded? Why are we losing so much innovation and talent? And why have we just basically become dumb? All of this can just be seen through New York City public schools. Like I've said in a previous video, New York City and its problems are a microcosm of America. It's just a little snippet of the whole entire country. And New York City schools are no different. Just go and Google it. You'll see how segregated the schools are. You have white and Asian students on one side and then Black and Latino students on the other. You'll see how high the teacher turnover rate is. You'll see how underpaid the teachers are. You'll see how much massive controversies and scandals have been going on. It's just a mess. America as a whole underappreciates teachers, which is something we need to talk about more. But in New York City, that problem is only magnified. And with the cost of living in this city being so astronomical, a lot of teachers need to work 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet, which is fucking ridiculous. Like, how can this be where our teachers who are shaping our future generation are the ones that are making scraps and putting pennies together just to get by? A country that does not value its education system is truly a country that is setting itself up for failure, because we are not servicing our students or preparing them for the future. What we're doing is we're treating education like a business. We're just trying to focus on statistics just to be able to secure more funding. And that's the inherent problem with American culture and American society in general, is that everything is rooted in money. Everything is rooted in basically what can be gained monetarily, not real results, not honest work, not anything that is basically substantial. Instead, it's just artificial numbers, artificial graduation rates, artificial everything, just so we can be able to say, oh, our graduation rate is rising. No. What they're doing is they're passing all types of students that never even come to school. They'll pass them and give them a passing grade and give them a diploma. You literally had a student in the New York Post say, fail me, because she was given a bogus high school diploma because she didn't even attend class. Imagine the own student being like, I don't deserve this high school diploma. You cheated me out of a real and authentic, honest education. That's the tale of New York City public schools. And I know New York City isn't the only place where this happens. There was a massive cheating scandal in Atlanta a few years ago, but a lot of the people that were involved with that got arrested. But in New York City, a lot of the people, principals, teachers, APs, and so forth, that get caught with their hands dirty in basically changing students' scores just to boost graduation rates, don't get sent to jail. Hell, a lot of the time they don't even get fired. They just get reinstated into other positions within the bureaucratic public education system. And this is why we are in the mess that we're in. And this is why teachers are leaving and quitting. This is why teachers just leave so fast, because New York City public schools are not a place where somebody that's new to the profession will thrive. Because when students are only instructed for a test, when teachers are only told you can teach certain things, when principals only care about graduation rates, when superintendents only care about funding, you know that the priority of the student's education is not going to be there. And this is why American education is quickly becoming a joke. And this is why public education in America has fallen to such mighty, mighty lows. And it's so sad, because there's a lot of great, genuine teachers that are actual great, amazing educators and are leaving the profession in droves. I remember when I was in high school, I loved some of my teachers. The best ones were the ones that were forced out by the principal because they spoke their minds and they didn't want to adhere to things like changing grades or forging test scores. And it's just like, wow, if the lack of morality starts at the top, of course it's going to trickle down and infect and poison everybody else. But the people that are actually honest and have a backbone and some integrity are always the ones that get kicked out, fired, taken out, and replaced by others that will be puppets and do whatever they're told. And so basically, I know this sounds a little too negative and cynical, but I'm just giving you this video and message as a warning, a suggestion, a recommendation. If you want to be a teacher, if you're an aspiring teacher, if you just got your license or whatever, stay the hell away from New York City public schools. Stay the hell away from the New York City Department of Education. Well, that's all I had to say for this video. What do you think about this topic? Are you also a public school educator? Are you a teacher somewhere? Do you have any experience teaching in New York City? Please let me know, because I love to hear from you guys and your perspectives on this. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't, please share, like, and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.